Welcome to a tour guide's Napa Valley. This was an especially interesting tour. We call it the Winemakers tour because we took clients to see 3 different winemakers, starting at a little winery called Dakota Shy, right off the Silverado Trail. Now these folks actually bought a property where there was a house tucked away a little bit, and you can tell there was a house because it has a swimming pool. You don't usually see swimming pools at wineries unless it was a home before. There's the little gazebo off in the distance, and that's where the assistant winemaker took my clients to do a tasting and to discuss wines and go into it. And while they were in there, I was sneaking around inside to show you the rest of the place. It's set up just like a home. You can see there's actually 2 different little tasting areas right there, and then the third one up there. Some wonderful little antiques, including a thing that they used to call a typewriter, for those of you who don't know what that is. There's another nice tasting area over here that was went to the dining room. Some very nice art up on the walls. A big spacious kitchen. It's really quite lovely. There's some other large format bottles. But in the kitchen, I especially like this because it faces towards the south, so you get a lot of sun that comes in. It's very pleasant. And then you have another tasting area in here. And then out the window, there's a little area with a grill for when they have their parties for their wine clubs as well. And of course, they have a great library. I haven't hung out there long enough to explore their library, but I did find the winery cat. Winery cats are very important. Now there's the gazebo, really lovely place to taste. So they have other tasting areas on the property. After that, we headed down to Hunter Glen. It's just south of Yountville. A pretty property. It's owned by the Shiflett family. We're going there to see Jeffrey Jr., the Shiflett, the winemaker, so my folks could discuss things with him. We got there. It's a beautiful property. I've been there many times on the valley floor and goes up into the hills. But I had to go get sandwiches for my clients, so I drove all the way up to the Oakville grocery, and they were so slammed that I drove all the way back down to Yountville, hoping that the ranch market in Yountville wouldn't be too busy. But when I drove through town, it was completely slammed with people. Now, admittedly, it was a Saturday, but it was just slammed with people. I pulled up to the market and said no. I ended up going all the way down to Whole Foods and coming back up with the sandwiches just in time to pick up the clients. There's my Jeffrey discussing things with my client. It was very interesting. We had enough time before the next winery that I actually took them up to St. Helena and they went shopping. I dropped them off at one end and then I went and met them at the other end. Now our next stop was further up valley, up off the Silverado Trail. It's a beautiful property called the Terraces, and I actually got to shoot a little video there. So I'm here at the Terraces Winery. This is up just off the Silverado Trail, just south of where it intersects the Zinfandel Lane in Napa. I guess it's probably officially Rutherford, St. Helena. It's right on the line between the two. It's tucked up in the hills. These terraces up here, and most of the property is up on a hill someplace. These terraces up here were cut in the late 1800s by the previous farmers, and this would have been the land that they could afford. It was not very valuable, but they made it valuable. And now, of course, several owners on. They have a great winery here and great tasting room. Really, the vineyards. I think the vineyards are here. I'm not even sure if the winery's here. Let's go take a look. So my clients are going to go off on a tour of the property. Now, you're probably wondering about the pink and green cow. That was part of an auction to benefit a particular organization. People bid on them. But they live all over the valley these days, which is very nice. I'm up above on the hillside now looking out, and you can see really it's all terrace. There's the tasting room upstairs and their large patio outside. And I wandered inside, and they have a wonderful collection of art, quite eclectic, but you can really tell it's got a particular style to it. There goes the assistant winemaker, the bottle of wine. Beautiful pieces. And as you can see, if they taste in the inside during the wintertime, it's very comfortable. They were actually getting ready for a blind tasting of about 9 wines. So they were setting up for a group of people to come in, which looked like a huge amount of fun to do. But very comfy. You know, it's a real down-home place. They grow all kinds of different trees on the property. It's funny, Jeffrey from Chiflet had asked me where the winery was, and I said I really didn't know. I hadn't been to this property that many times. I hadn't gone exploring, but there was their winery, right behind the tasting room, tucked underneath the shed, because after all, this time of year, everything's been put away. So I just dropped my clients off at the Allegria restaurant, right down here in downtown Napa, over by Don Perico. And the streets, it's Saturday, and the streets are just hopping. The streets are just hopping with people. Look, I found a cut in the curb, I could drop them off. Now I get to go home and have some dinner after what was a very entertaining day. 3 wineries with 3 winemakers. That's pretty unique.